The new warbond Exo Experts has been out for about 24 hours now, and that has given me a bunch of time to jump in, sink my teeth into everything, and kind of get the feel for the whole warbond. And my personal overall consensus on the warbond is something like a 7 out of 10. It is very good, and I find it very enjoyable, but I wouldn't call it a massive game changer either. So I'm gonna give you my first impressions on all the different gear, starting off with the new Oxygenator passive. This armor passive is very, very fun, and it's actually really good. This passive increases your walking and running speed, and increases your slide distance. That is so much fun. I swear, the slide is so much longer. You can slide like it's goddamn Titanfall, it feels like. I'm obviously exaggerating, but compared to the slide we used to have, which was basically nothing, this slide is quite long, and it actually is very fun to shoot while sliding now. It's really cool. And the movement speed bonus is very noticeable. As soon as you put it on when you're in the ship, you can notice right away that you're moving quite fast, especially with the light armor set in the warbond. This armor set, with the new passive, you turn into a speedy helldiver. This is so good for fighting against melee enemies like bugs or voteless or what have you, and it just feels really good to use. It's like having a permanent experimental infusion movement speed buff on you. It is very nice. This passive is a novel idea, it is executed pretty well, and it's useful and it's fun. That's pretty much all you could want out of a good armor passive. So I'm definitely a big fan of this. I'm going to use it a bunch on the bugs and definitely the Illuminate from now on. For the bots, I prefer to have more defensive style passives, but this is still incredible. I really like it. The SMG 203 Gallant is a really nice submachine gun, which is basically just the Knight but medium pen. This is to the Knight what the Liberator Penetrator is to the Liberator. It is actually very nice. You can definitely take on some medium-sized enemies up close really fast with it because it shares all the same general characteristics as the Knight. Same magazine size, same fire rate, but just with less damage and with medium pen, which can be really nice. I mean, what else do you need to say about it? Plus, you now have an option for a one-handed SMG that is medium pen, so you can bring a ballistic shield if you want to, and pair it with a Gallant for some medium pen bullets, which is very nice. Plus, they also buffed the ballistic shield now, so there you go. And it is nice that anyone who doesn't own the Super Citizen Edition can have a variant of the Knight that is in many ways stronger than the basic Knight itself. There is also the MGX-42 Bulletstorm. This is an expendable machine gun, and it's actually pretty good. So it functions a lot like the EAT, where you call it down and you get 2 individual weapons that, can't be reloaded. Each Bulletstorm comes with 300 bullets, and each bullet deals 100 damage with light pen. And 100 damage is a lot of damage to boast for a weapon with such a massive amount of fire rate. It's more than the Liberator and the Stalwart. That's pretty damn good. I found this to be quite effective against the bugs if you have good enough aim to always hit the light points on the enemies, and I found it to be extremely effective against the Illuminate in general because of how little penetration you need to kill most Illuminate enemies. Plus, the Bulletstorm also has very little recoil. You can just mow down anyone with this weapon, and one of the best parts about the Bulletstorm is the insanely low cooldown of 70 seconds, which can be lowered to around 66 seconds if you have your ship upgraded. So just over a minute to call down 2 machine guns with 300 rounds each for a total of, 600 rounds, and you get that around once a minute. So that's a lot of bullets per minute that you can call in whenever you need to. It is actually very nice for supplying you with a lot of bullets for the whole game. The only real problem, I think, with it is, of course, the light pen is going to turn a lot of people off, and when you go first person, there is no proper sight. The weapon has no optics at all. You just kind of point fire it like the MA5C, except the MA5C, of course, has the smart reticle, so, you know, good luck aiming this thing. Still, this is a very, very fun weapon and a very solid side grade to the Stalwart. I actually think I prefer this over the Stalwart. The Stalwart is nice and all, I like a good LMG, but you get so much volume with this thing, so many bullets, so often, and it's just a very nice weapon. I quite like it. And there's also the P-33 missile pistol. Honestly, I was quite underwhelmed by this thing at first. I tried it against the bugs for a while, and it was alright. It was pretty good against Bile Titans when you're underneath them. It was okay against Chargers, but in general, I didn't feel like it was that strong. But then I tried it against the bots, and let me tell you, there are a lot of good applications for the missile pistol on the bot front. First off, do not trust the in-game weapon stats regarding the missile pistol. It says that it's medium armor pen, and technically the explosion is medium armor pen, but most of the damage comes from the projectile itself, and the projectile is anti-tank. Do not listen to the in-game stats, they are not reliable. The missile pistol can one-shot gunships with ease. You lock it on, fire it off, and it takes them out with no effort. It can one-shot Hulks if you are positioned correctly and you have a good angle on them. And let me tell you, it is fucking hilarious when you knock the Shield Devastator's shield off them now, because that is the thing you can do now. You know, you just aim the missile at them, knock it off, and they're just sitting there like a sitting duck, ready to get killed. I also found it to be pretty good against Harvesters on the Illuminate front. 2 shots usually kills it, and that's really not bad for a secondary, especially when it takes such low effort to use. It is a lock-on, and it can be used at long range. Yes, the Ultimatum is always like better, but this is much longer range, and it can hold a lot more ammo. I can definitely endorse the missile pistol. In-game, it looks underwhelming because it says it has medium armor pen. That is not true. The explosion is medium armor pen, and that does 300 damage. The projectile itself has 1000 damage, by far the majority of the damage, and that is anti-tank. And you can even fire it in unguided mode if you're not a fan of the whole lock-on thing. Trust me, this is a good weapon. You just gotta give it a shot and kind of learn the proper technique of using it. It is kind of weird to use sometimes, but when you do use it correctly, it's a really solid secondary. I definitely enjoy it. Now we're gonna talk about the new exosuits, and the first one we have is the Lumberer. The Lumberer is really, really fun. It's really nice, really fun, and I'm gonna be honest, I think this outclasses the Patriot by a pretty decent margin, at least in my opinion. I think the Flamethrower is the star attraction here for most people, and you'll be glad to know that the Flamethrower on the Lumberer is basically just the Cremator. So it has a pretty generous range, and of course all those new Flamethrower buffs regarding the crowd control, the slowing and all that all applies here. Some people might say that the Flamethrower arm needs more ammo, and yeah, it couldn't hurt. I don't see why not, but I think 500 is enough a lot of the time, because you don't need to hold down the Flamethrower the whole time. You can use it in bursts, you can kind of flame areas off, you can CC enemies with it, and let the damage over time and take them out. Again, more ammo couldn't hurt, but it is still pretty good. It is definitely more than usable. The other arm, the right arm, is functionally an anti-tank emplacement strapped to a mech, which is very strong, just as strong as you think it is. It comes with 25 rounds, which is quite a lot. That is almost as much as the actual anti-tank emplacement itself, but this is mobile. That's kind of a big deal in my opinion. So you can use this to take out lots of different large enemies very quickly, and of course enemy objectives will not stand a chance. You can kind of steamroll objectives around the whole map with this thing. You can take out so many enemy buildings, spawn points, you know, things like spore spewers and shrieker nests go down very fast. All manner of enemy buildings are gonna be wiped off the map if you can keep this thing alive and just shell the enemy objectives. It's really, really strong. One of my favorite little combos that I found out was you can flame a charger and get them to be all distracted and turn away from you, and then just hit them right in the side with the anti-tank. It's very fun. This is a really, really fun mech. Is it the best mech in the game? Depends on what kind of person you are, I think. But I think that this is very, very strong, and most importantly, it is fun. So if you like the idea of a flamethrower slash anti-tank mech, I mean, here it is. Here it is. And the other mech we got is the Exo 55 Breakthrough. The Breakthrough is also very, very good in my opinion. This is a combo of a flak cannon and a shield. The shield catches your eye right away, and trust me, it is very cool, but the flak cannon has proven to be really, really strong actually. I quite like it, and it's a lot of fun. So we'll talk about the shield first. The shield is your left arm, and the shield has 5,000 health with medium armor, which is nothing to scoff at really. I've never had a moment where the shield has broken yet, and it can take a beating. People were really worried that it would be made out of paper mache, like they say that the mechs are, but I think it's actually quite strong. Plus, the shield also has a melee attack, which is 500 damage with heavy armor pen, and it deals 500 against durable, which is also really, really strong. You can punch the shit out of a Hulk, you can punch a shield devastator and knock their shield out of their hands, you know, showing them who's boss. You can punch a whole bunch of enemies, punch battle titans, punch harvesters, you know, go find out, go experiment. Now the flak cannon is where things get pretty interesting. This is a giant shotgun for your mech. It goes on your right arm, and it is quite unique in the sense that this is the only mech weapon that has to reload itself. It can hold 6 rounds loaded at once, and it has to reload shell by shell over time, much like any other pump action shotgun in the game. The flak cannon fires out 40 pellets in a really wide spread, and each pellet penetrates heavy armor to deal 90 damage, and it has 40 stagger force. So that's pretty good. You can use this to take out a bunch of enemies, a wide variety of enemies on all fronts, really. This can kill anything on the Illuminate front pretty much, and on the bot front, this can one-shot a Hulk up close. This can take out a bunch of enemies in a patrol or in a wave. It's very versatile, I find, and the range on it isn't bad either. Even though the Lumberer can be very useful, I think that the Breakthrough is so strong in any scenario. The shield makes it much tankier than other mechs in the game, and it gives it a pretty strong melee attack. It has better range than the Stomp and better damage, so it's quite effective against heavy enemies. And the flak cannon is an all-around strong weapon. It is very, very powerful against pretty much anything. Even though it doesn't hit that height of anti-tank, the heavy pen with wide spread is really, really nice. It can kill so many different enemies very easily. And thankfully, all of the mechs in the game did receive some buffs to health. So far, they do feel tankier. I've noticed my mech tank a giant laser cannon shot, like right to the body, so they are definitely tankier, thank God. Overall, I think Exo Experts is quite fun. I'm liking it quite a bit. This is a fun warbond, and one thing I really appreciate is that the mechs were very cheap to buy with medals. I didn't feel like I had to grind a lot to earn all the gear in here at all, which is very nice. I really appreciate that. Although I know that some people will be complaining soon that there is no content, and that is a whole different can of worms that Arrowhead really has to tackle some point soon. I mean, I've already talked about this recently. I'm not going to go into a rant, but yes, Arrowhead needs to stop being so warbond reliant and go back to the good old days. But what do you guys think of Exo Experts so far? Do you like it? Have you even been on since the update came out? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, I want to thank all of my Hell Troopers. Swickety, Archangel Shipyards, Dirty Nightmare, Findas16, ODST Exotic, John Droll, Tinfoil Freak, Melek Paragon 9231, Jack of Nothingness, Sire Melk, Thackum Dub, Kermite Official, and SES Champion of Democracy. Thank you all so much for continuing to support the channel. It means a lot to me. And that is all I have for today. This is Grand Moff Togan of the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.